You never know what is going to happen today or who is going to be on your tour. And one day I got up to do the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island tour. And I got there and there were all these folks there from Africa. Some of them were dressed in what you would consider like typical African garb with the colorful patterns and the headpiece, and they looked just so beautiful. And there was a whole group of them. And I was like, well, this is cool. And then one of the ladies came over to me and she said, I am the concierge for this group. They're from Zambia. And this is their first visit there. And then as I was going through the cafeteria, I saw this group from Zambia sitting at a table. I had left them alone for about 2 minutes. And when I turned back around, they were at this big table all together. And in the middle of the table was this mountain of like American food, you know, hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries. And they were just having this feast and having a blast. And then there was this one woman who worked at Liberty Island who was working there in the cafeteria, and she came running over to me and she said, do you know who these people are? Do you know who these people are? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, they're UN delegates from Africa. And she was like, no, these are royalty. These are African royalty. These are princes and chiefs and princesses. And I was like, oh. And then she said, do you need anything? Do you need anything? And then she went over to them, does anybody need anything? And it turns out this woman she shared with me had actually once worked at the UN. And she, as soon as they walked in, she recognized them and went crazy. And then later that night, I was getting these messages that they wanted me to escort them. They wanted to request me for the following night because the First Lady of Zambia was coming for a dinner cruise. And the First Lady was held up with the news people and the journalists and all that. And I was kind of sweating it. I was like, oh my gosh, we cannot miss this boat. We can't. So we had a bunch of cars, and I said to one of the liaisons, I said, listen, you gotta send me over there now. I have to make sure that boat doesn't leave. So they did. They sent me in a car. I got there, and I put one foot on the dock and one foot on the gangplank. And I was holding on to it and talking to these people, and they're saying, we have to go. And I'm like, no! She's coming. She's held up with the news people and she's gonna be here with her entire entourage. And they're like, I know, but we have other people. I said, no, they're gonna be here any minute. And the clock was ticking, and it was exactly the time that the boat had to leave. I said to them, Michelle Obama goes to another country and the boat leaves without her. What would that be like? I said, that's what you're doing here. You have to wait. So they did. And they got there a few minutes later, and I was like a nervous wreck. And the First Lady could not have been more, she was glamorous and elegant. And then later on the boat, we were doing the electric slide together. It was amazing. And she was posing for pictures with everybody on the boat who saw our table and knew it was something important. So that, so far, is my most exciting experience.